What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're working on our 1952 Dodge still. Check it out. That's surprisingly satisfying. Hopefully this episode we get it done. I'm Kevin. This is Ridge Runner Garage. Frame. And so here we are. The saga continues of the 1952 Dodge. Now, if you guys are just joining in, quick little catch up. It is a 1952 Dodge that we drove back from New York State, and we chassis swapped it with a 2007 Chrysler Aspen. So what we've got left is we still have to build front and rear bumpers. We still have to work on doing something about the lights. I still have done nothing for the interior here, even though I do have a seat. And I have some wood we're going to throw down in this bed floor, figure out what to do with the filler neck over here. And the big elephant in the room is this. If you guys were watching the last video, and these tires and wheels, even though they fit great in the back, I knew they'd be a little bit of a stretch in the front, and well, they are. We're gonna try bending these fenders out. I don't want to cut these. Originally, I thought, well, that's gonna be what's gonna have to happen, but that is not really what I want to do at all. And there's one other thing. The torsion bars on the front of this are still turned all the way down, so we can turn those torsion bars up. Then the truck slants forward. Even if we did that, it's still going to hit without bending these fenders. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to bend this fender out best we can. So I don't know, sit back, relax, and let's see what we can do. Let's get into it. Well, what do you think? And you know, that Bondo fell out and the door gap's messed up, but it's gonna clear the wheel or just. And I feel like I might have a frozen shock over here, so we'll address that later. This side, same thing. You know, might scrub on the big bumps, but not so bad. Good morning. It's another day. We're working on our 52 Dodge, and so far we were messing around with these wheel wells all week long, but I am anxious to do something about this. We want to do something to where we have a usable bed. Maybe last time I was up in North Carolina, I got some barn boards, so that's what we're going to use. And it's going to involve using one of these toolboxes. Can you guess why? You guys will find out in a couple minutes. Let me get out the circular saw, which is a tool we don't often use here in the garage, but I do have one. And I think I'm gonna start this up, turn it around. I think it might be a little easier to work on, so here we go. Let's get going on this. This is what I mean about old barnwood. I got this when I was up in North Carolina. It's easy to find up there. I think people are charging around $1 a linear foot up there. Down here in Charleston, it's like $13, $14 a foot. So you could probably make money just running it back and forth. They clearly weren't shy about putting nails in the things. I mean, look at this thing. Look at the size of this nail. We're gonna get all the nails out of that and cut it up, and we're gonna make that our bed floor. All right, here we go. All right, well, how are we going? What do we got here? There we go. And how are we gonna put fuel in this thing once we get the bed floor on? The trusty tape measure, see if we can figure it out. So what I'm thinking is this little unassuming toolbox in the back of the truck, and we'll be able to flip it open, and this is where our gas cap's going to be. Now, I'm not sure just how I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to cut all this apart, maybe cut it off here, have it go down through, something like that. That'll work. I've got the welder out and I want to weld this in here. It's going to burn all the paint off here, right? What I'm going to do is take some grease and just wipe it on here where I'm going to weld. The reason I'm doing that is the grease is going to absorb the heat and it's keep me from burning through the paint. This has worked in the past. I don't know if it's going to work this time, but we're going to try it anyway. See what happens. Did it work? Absolutely not. That'll be another project that took almost all day. Check it out. I think that looks really good. 100-plus-year-old barn boards. Inconspicuous toolbox in the back. Nice old Craftsman. Oh, that's where you put your gas in. Oh, that's awesome. Pretty cool. Well, good morning. So first things first, we plan on doing something about these turn signals, except I don't have the original turn signals to this. They're long since rotted out. We're gonna finish this bumper, but first I went to pull this out of the shop and this shock is frozen for some reason, so let's see if we can figure out why. Oh, golly. Check that out. I'm going to guess this is a result of me jacking up this fender, trying to push this fender out. Yeah, there we go. Doesn't appear to be anything wrong with the shock at all. Yeah. Well, there's plenty of shocks without those on. Let's throw this back in. Alright, now that I got the shock fixed, here's what we're up to next. So, this is one of the turn signals from the truck. Over here, it's all rotted off. This side is not much better. I don't have the turn signals for it, so here's what my idea is. As I got some of these lights, you know, these were originally lights that were up here, probably because this was previous military. Those ones were all rotted and they were never going to work. But here's what my idea is. Maybe cut this trim ring off here and put the light in behind here. Something like this. So if I'll get it back there, maybe a 90-degree bracket on here that's underneath this, and we'll have at least some sort of a light in there. All right, well, this is kind of what I was going for. Something where I could maybe stick the light in here like this. And then I realized after I did all this that that is not going to screw on there. So let's try to design something else. I'm gonna do another piece of this and maybe just drill the hole out a little farther maybe. I don't know if it'll work, but well, I guess we'll try it. So I made another bracket where this sticks out a little farther. We can get the nut on there. Not exactly where I would want it, but I think I would want it a little straighter, but I can't really, beggars can't be choosers, right? And my idea is this. I'm gonna weld this back on over the top of this. You guys can kind of see what I'm going for here. But that's gonna be our turn signal. I think it's about the best idea you can do with something so rusty like this. So let me clean a little bit of this up, get the tack welding, and see what it looks like when it's done. Well, it came out pretty good. As good as it's gonna get, for an old rotted out truck. So I think it's pretty good. Now it's time to finish this bumper. Well, I thought I'd take a few minutes break from doing that bumper. There you go. Beautiful. New carpet installed. Okay. If this looks familiar, it should. This is another one of those lift arms that I was talking about earlier. Was it the last video we were doing this? Yeah. We were cutting these things up. They replaced a couple of the lift arms at work. They didn't replace the whole lift, but they thrown these in the scrap steel bin. So my idea is to cut this piece out of here, which is going to involve grinding off cutting off these little welds, and big welds. And I need exactly 35 inches, so across here, and I'm going to put that piece in between here. So more cutting. All that was left over from the grinder. Like fireworks. Ah, that's cool. Anyway. Yeah. Okay, well, the truck's coming along. And how do you like our bumper mount? Check it out. It's there, pretty solid. Look pretty good coming out of this piece here. Now, this is gonna be our front bumper. My idea is this. I'm gonna cut this with a torch, and I'm gonna cut it freehand. So, I may be resting my hand up against it a little bit or something like that, but I'm not gonna use a guide. And the reason why is I want it jagged. I want the edges to be a little jagged. I'm not going to see it grind them down or anything. And when I bolt that on there, it's going to stick out the both sides. It's going to be too big. So from there, my idea is to taper the edges as you go in. So maybe just cut a little pie cut, and then maybe I can actually tack weld it or something along those lines. But that's my idea for bumpers. Let's see how they come out. Okay. Fingers out of there. All right, that's starting to look cool. Gonna drill some holes in this, bolt it on. Let's get it on there and figure out where we're going to cut this back so it hugs the truck a little better. Well, what do you think? I think it looks awesome. I had every intention on putting a push bar on this thing, or, you know, bull bar, whatever they call those things back in the day. Well, the way the bumper looks, and man, ever since we flared those fenders out, it really changed the look of this truck. I like the way it came out. So I started hooking up the lights, and I have a major problem. The headlight switch has no power and ground going to it. The headlight switch only has CAN B, and it looks like a LIN bus, which is an interior bus. So none of the parking lights, none of the turn signals, none of the flashers, only the headlights will work on low beam. There's no high beam, you can't switch it without the instrument cluster being plugged in. So here's what I did. I stripped the instrument cluster down to basically all that's really needed. It as a module, and here you go. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna zip tie this thing up under the dash, and this way all my lights will work. The turn signal, the flashers, the four ways, everything works. It's just that needs to be in line somewheres, and no reason I can't just hide it up under the dash. Got some used headlight trim rings off of eBay for this thing for 30 bucks, which I think are great. A little pitted up, but I mean, it's perfect for this. Actually, if I'm honest, they almost look a little too nice. Unfortunately, the hole is stripped in the bottom, so self-tapper it is. Check it out. Look at that. Man, this is when they really start to feel alive. Let's get it off the jack stands, get it turned around, and let's figure out how to hook up those taillights. Getting ready to throw the tires on this thing. One thing I've got to take care of before I put the tires on is this. When I was banging away at these fenders, trying to bend these fenders out, this is where the fender originally mounted. There was a bracket here, it bolted inside. It's like this on both sides. It's from banging away on it. There was already rust and Bondo and stuff here, so obviously this looks just horrible. I mean, on top of our fender, it looks bad. What my idea is, this is old pieces of the floor here that I had cut off this thing, and I'm thinking about cutting out some rectangle pieces out of this old rusty steel. Doesn't look that great on the top, but it's pretty uniform looking on the bottom as far as, you know, rust is concerned. And I think if I can, maybe I can make some sort of patch panel, put it behind and rivet it in, or maybe even tack weld in a couple spots. I don't really know. Either way, we're gonna find out and see how it looks like once we get these cut. So let's cut these and see what we end up with. It fills it in more if I put it on the outside, but I think if we're gonna do the inside, I can probably bend this around, make this all kind of fit a little better. You'd see the rust hole, but you'd see the patch there. And yeah, I don't really want to see that, so that's going to be their winner. So my rivet idea is kind of working, kind of not working. My rivets are all just loose in here. I really kind of think that's because my box of rivets, these rivets are actually too long for what I'm doing here. I think they don't bite shallow enough. So went to the hardware store, and I spent $75 million on some black bolts and nylock nuts. So let's try this. Oh yeah, that is a lot tighter. Insert joke here. Oh, you know what? By the way, while I'm struggling with this right now would be a good time to go subscribe to the channel. What do you think? I mean, it's not, you know, yes, I could have cut that out and welded a piece in there, but I really just trying to keep the patina as best I really can. So I think that looks as good as it's gonna be. I'm just gotta do the same thing on the other side. All right, to that side, what do you think? Looks pretty good. Better than a big hole anyways. Now I've gotta do this one. That's where Roger had the Crown Vic filler neck there, so Let's see if we can figure out how to bend that piece. A little too much. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, buddy. Sure beats having a hole there. Hey, there we go. We got the truck turned around and back in the garage. And check it out how quickly they gather parts. It wasn't even a truck bed a couple days ago, but now it's a truck bed. Now it's starting to collect junk. Here's what we're after today. We want to put the rear bumper on this thing, which means I got to make brackets, bend the bumper up, get it to fit. First things first, I did the headlights. I want to do the taillights. But how do you hook these taillights up? They're old. They don't have really anything going on with them here. There's a big old hole in the back. This one's missing a lens. This one has a big old hole in the back. I don't know. What do you think you should do? Well, I learned from when I got this truck how the lights were in here. It was actually a pretty trick way of doing it. I've never seen anybody do lights like this. Personally, I would have not come up with this idea, but somebody did, and it actually works out pretty good. So here's actually what we're going to do. These are the taillights that came out of the Dodge Chrysler Aspen. And if you look, you see a couple holes here. Obviously, you see a big hole here. This is, you know, not that hole, but the small holes. When I got it, it had these taillight pieces where the light goes cut out, and these were texture just cut out like in a square, and that was screwed to the light. So I'm gonna just follow suit, do the same thing. This one small light over here though, I'm gonna see if I can get working. I don't have a lens for it. I've got a bigger lens. Maybe I can cut the lens down. I never tried that. Over here I've got a red lens on this one light that I took off of here. It's a giant red lens. But what do you do with it? The light's broken. Can I somehow make that go over the top of that? I don't know. Either way, it's going to be fun to figure out. So, I don't know. Let's see what we come up with. Checking this out with a power probe. Check this out. This light actually works. And then high. So we retrieved our lens off of this old light here, and it has these rings on the inside, and I'm wondering if I can somehow cut it down to one of these rings somehow, maybe with a cut-off wheel grinder or something, and see if I can get it to fit inside this light. I think I'm probably crazy for even trying it. It's probably a total waste of time, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Check it out. Look at that. Literally fits perfect. I've never ever done anything like that ever, and it literally fits perfect. All right, well, we retrieved our piece. Well, let's see here. It kind of looks okay. This is what we're left with. What do you think? I never thought about doing it like that until I got this truck and it had the lights done like this. I like having the rusty old light there, don't you guys? Now, I'm not gonna do it over there. Voila! Or voila, I don't know. Anyways, check it out. Taillights are working. Pretty cool. Next thing, we're gonna do something about putting a bumper on this thing. And you remember this situation? There's a couple more of these things in the dumpster at work, so I grabbed one. Actually, I have two more, so I'm gonna get the torch out, cut this up, and we're gonna make some mounts for our bumper. Good morning, guys. It's another day, It is a little too early in the morning right now to be firing up the grinders and stuff like that, living in a neighborhood. So I decided we're going to put some mirrors on this thing. I've actually been working after work for like the last 2 weeks, almost every night, trying to get this truck done. And I come to the realization that it's probably just not going to get done in this video, because we've got the Hot Rod Power Tour coming up next week. The Ridge Runner truck is ready to go, but you know, there's also other things that we've got to get done before we go, household things, things like that. A buddy of mine keeps telling me when we're doing these projects that the last 10% is 90% of the work. And for the most part, he's pretty much right. Shout out to Dustin. Now, as far as these mirrors go, I thought you might find this interesting. You guys know I like those California West Coast style mirrors, I think they call them. And I found these right here. I found these at the, what was it? The Charlotte Motorama or Charlotte Auto Fair. And even though I think they're kind of a cool mirror, there's something about them that I just don't like on this truck. I don't know. It's almost like they're too small or something. So anyway, what I went and did is actually got a new set of mirrors. Now I know that these are, you know, it's going on a rusty truck and it's a new set of mirrors. However, these are not American made by any means. These are the same mirrors that are on the Ridge Runner truck out there. Let's take a closer look. They're all boxed up pretty well, aren't they? There we go. Yeah, and let's see what we've got here. They are virtually the same mirror that we've got on the Ridge Runner truck. Now, they are nice and chrome, but because they are not made in the USA, if you know what I mean, they do rust, and they rust pretty fast. So when we're on the Hot Rod Power Tour, we're going to clean everything that we replaced on this that's steel with brake clean, and make sure it's clean or free of any oils that might be on it. I'm going to spray it down with a mix of salt peroxide and vinegar. You guys have probably heard about what that is. And I'm going to leave it outside for the week, so we'll see what happens. No surprise, it's metric, 23 millimeter. Anyway. Oh, that's surprisingly satisfying. That. Much better. Also, you guys might find this interesting. This is the hardware that the mirrors come with. You know, just in case you want to install a license plate. There we go. All glued in. My welds came out pretty good. Well, it's getting there. Next thing I'm gonna do is put the bumper on, but drill some holes, line it up. Oh, and by the way, it's lunchtime. Actually, it's after lunchtime. It's about 1 o'clock. Oh, did I mention? No, I didn't. We'll be gone. All right, well, bumper's on. Now what to do? Gonna bend it in like the front was, or just cut off each side? Huh. It's definitely too wide. And there it is, all done. looks pretty good. I don't know. I'm happy with it. Out in the driveway, I think it looks pretty good. It's getting there anyways. Unfortunately, this is just all the time that we've got to fit for this episode. I have to get this edited and get this out to you guys. I still have to put an interior in this thing. We still plan on doing the patina thing with this, and we plan on taking it for a trip someplace. Whether it's a whole day trip or over a weekend, we haven't really figured that out yet. So there will be one more video on this truck. We're headed next week to do the 2024 Hot Rod Power Tour. So you will see that video before you see us finish the 52 Dodge here. So I appreciate you guys checking out the video. Like, share, and subscribe. One more last little thing. I had every intention on maybe putting a grill guard on this thing. If you guys made it all the way to the end of this video, let me know what you guys think. Grill guard or no grill guard? Let me know. Put in the comments below. I will see you on the next video.